I remember is the happiness that they all exuberated. They were so happy in what they were doing. They came across as such honest warriors of Srila Prabhupada, so happy, and just everybody wanted to look at them and be like them, happy. So today we are having him here, children, so that you all can get a glimpse of that happiness. And the reason why he is here is to inspire all of you. So I hope you all listen very attentively to whatever Prabhuji has to say, and feel free to ask him questions. He interacts with students, children of all age groups, and he is the best person that you can ask your doubts. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, over to you.
Thank you so much. Om Jnanatinirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pucharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Karini. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. I am very grateful to get this privilege and the opportunity to serve all of you while sitting here far away from all of you. Thanks to technology and thanks to Corona. One of the things that this new education policy is being introduced, as you may be aware, the government is introducing a new education policy. So the secretary of the CBSE was speaking the other day, and he was telling earlier people were focusing on IQ, intelligence quotient. Later people started talking about EQ, emotional quotient. Then they started speaking about SQ, social quotient. And now he was mentioning that we want to emphasize AQ, adversity quotient. How to face situations where we are faced with adversities, and many a times when faced with adversities, people completely kind of collapse. People either physically, mentally, or sometimes, they take some extreme steps. How to avoid that? He says they have to become very strong. And I think with regard to that, today's series of verses that Pushkarani Mataji asked me to speak on from the Bhagavad Gita, second chapter. I'm very happy that all of you are trying to understand the Gita, which is the eternal song of God. Can you imagine Krishna sings? He sings so sweetly, and he sings a perfect song. And that song is, if he can only, what to speak of following, even if he can memorize that song, our life can be perfect. So in this particular section, what we have titled The Beauty of Duty and the Effect of Neglect. So, and Pushkarani Mataji requested me, I took it as an order upon my head, because it's my duty to serve her, because I very much respect and adore her as an individual and as a teacher. And therefore, I thought it's my duty, irrespective of what I feel. Sometimes duties are are not very pleasing. Like Arjun. Arjun was giving several excuses as to why he should not fight. That was his duty. He was on the battlefield. He was a warrior. And he was giving several excuses, as most of us do. But Arjuna was giving very, very bona fide, authentic, and he was quoting authorities, scriptures. Why? He was justifying. And if you hear that part of the Gita, you said, my God, he's so perfect, he's so right. But then Krishna said, nonsense. He said, this is nonsense. And then he systematically dismantled all the arguments that was put forward by Arjun. One of the arguments that was put forward by Arjun was, I will not be able to enjoy. Even if I fight the battle, suppose I win. My winning means I have defeated all of these people and they are my own relatives. Grandfather Bhishma, my martial teacher Drona, and my uncle Kripacharya, my own relatives, my cousins, everyone. If I kill all of them, how can I enjoy the kingdom? With whom will I enjoy? So he was thinking of, if I win also, I can't enjoy. And if I lose, I'm going to die. How can I enjoy that? So both ways, it's a loss. Amazingly, Krishna turned it upside down. He turned the coin upside down. He said, no, look, if you fight and if you win, you obviously enjoy the kingdom, unparalleled kingdom of this world, because this is like a world war only, and they are on the side of adharma, then your duty is to fight. And if you lose and you die, you give up your life, you achieve the heavens. Hatova prapsasi swargam, jitva va bhokshasi mahim, tasmad uttishta kaunteya yuddhaya krita nishchay, sukha dukkhe same kritva labha labhav jayaja. Don't consider about the consequence. It's not about I like, I don't like. Who cares about you like or you don't like? The thing is what is right, not what you like, but what is right. And what is right has to be done. It's so interesting when Krishna wants to teach some lessons. He creates such a dramatic situation. Whether it is a battle of Kurukshetra, to speak the Bhagavad Gita, just like when you have a diamond, if you take a diamond on your palm and show it to someone, it's not so attractive. But when you take the diamond and put it in a nice velvet cloth in a nice packet and you mount it on a gold ring, then the ring becomes glorified and the diamond becomes glorified. Similarly, Krishna, he wants to speak the Gita. That's one of the reasons why he appeared, Dharma Samsthapanarthaya. But he does it in such an amazing, such a dramatic way that we will never forget. It's like a nice movie where the drama is built up. And when it's come to the climax, everyone's thinking, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And at that time, some dialogue is spoken and everyone, arre, kya bola, wow, wow. Everyone claps their hands. So like that, Krishna does everything so dramatically. Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya drishkatam dharma samsthapanat. I'll tell you one nice story. One time, the king asked the minister, he said, Minister, I have a question. If you don't answer it, I'll cut off your head. The minister said, well, your My Lord, please tell me what's the question? He said, what does God do every day? What is his daily duty? What is the duty of the Lord daily? He said, why are you asking me? I'm a minister who runs the political matters. You ask the priest, the royal priest, he will tell you. So he turned to the priest. He said, I'll cut off your throat if you don't answer me. Tell me, what does God do morning to evening? What is his regular duty in this world? So the minister said, no, the priest said, my Lord, please give me 1 week's time. I have to do research because I don't know. I'll find out. So he said, all right, I'll give you 1 week's time. Exactly 1 week later, if you don't answer me, I'm going to cut your head. So the poor fellow went home, studied all his scriptures. Don't ask me what scriptures he read. But he was reading his scriptures and none of the things told anything about God's daily duties. So he was pulling out his hair, became like me actually at the end of the week. But then he was thinking, my God, tomorrow is Monday morning, exactly 1 week down. So Sunday night, he decided Monday early morning before Mangalarti, I should get out of this kingdom. Otherwise, my head will be chopped off. So what he did was, he packed up lock, stock, and barrel, everything. He put on a horse cart and he started riding and going away from the kingdom. As he was on the border of the kingdom, he saw a little cowherd boy, early morning taking the cows. So he looked at the priest and he said, hey, Panditji, where are you going? He said, hey, keep quiet, you fool. Already I'm disturbed and you're further irritating me, agitating me. He said, you look so disturbed. You're a royal priest. Please tell me. Can I help you? Hey, keep quiet, shut up. Don't be too smart. No, please tell me. Anything I can do. He said, you're a kid. What do you know? Hey, tell me at least. No, the king is foolish fellow. He's asked some question I can't answer. What question has he asked? He wants to know what is God's daily duty. So the cowboy said, that's all. I know the answer. What do you mean? I said, yeah, I know the answer. Okay, tell me. No, I'm not going to tell you. You take me to the king and I'm going to answer. The priest said, really? Are you sure? Otherwise, 2 heads will be chopped off today. 10 a.m. the darbar opens. So, okay. So, no, don't worry. I'll answer the question. So the minister, the priest took the boy, little just 7-year-old boy. So he came and they entered the court. And the king stared at the priest and said, today is the 7th day. Either you answer my question or your head rolls off. So have you found the answer? And the priest started laughing and laughing and laughing so loudly. So why are you laughing? He said, oh king, you're such a, what a simple question you asked. I'm such an intelligent person. You asked such simple, foolish, childish question. Forget about the royal priest. It's an insult to ask me. Even a little cowherd boy of your kingdom can easily answer this question. Come on, boy, you answer. And in the mind, he was thinking, please answer, otherwise I'm gone. The boy went and stood there right in front of the king. The king was, like 18 steps like that. Sometimes the Ravan's thing in the Ramayana they show, there are a few steps like that. And on top, this king is sitting like that, and the boy stands there. And the boy looks at the king straight in the eye and he says, all right, ask your question. Well, the priest is scared. So why is he talking like this? The king says, well, my question is, what does God do? The boy says, this is not the way to ask question. You should ask the question very humbly. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevya. He said, when you ask questions, you ask very humbly. So the king is shocked. Nobody has ever spoken to him like that. So he gets angry, but he was eager to get the answer. So he says, well, what I mean, no, this is not the way to ask the question. He said, how do I ask? He said, you come down, stand where I am standing. I will go sit on your throne. Then you ask, then I will answer. The priest is having, his heart is practically coming out of his mouth. क्या करेगा ये दोनों को मारेगा. And then the king walks down. And this boy goes up and sits on the throne. And then he says, okay, ask the question now. And the king says, I want to know, what does God do? What is the duty of the Lord every day in this world? And the child looks at the king and he says, this is what he does. The king is confused. He said, I didn't understand. This is what he does every day. He said, can you please explain? I don't understand. He says, God pulls down haughty, arrogant, proud people and very simple-hearted, pure people. He puts them on the throne. This is his daily activity. He pulled out Hiranyakashipu, the arrogant, egoistic, selfish fool, and he put his son Prahlad on the throne. He pulled down Ravan and he put his brother Vibhishan. He pulled down the arrogant Duryodhan and the Kauravas, and he put the very humble, devoted Pandavas. And in this way, he started explaining. And then the king was extremely happy. And the king said, thank you so much, you answered my question. So similarly, as I was saying, Krishna does everything so dramatically. Take, for example, his appearance. Just before the announcement was made in this world that Krishna is going to appear, what happened? Kamsa is there and driving the chariot of his dear sister, showing to the whole world how much I love my sister. I'm personally going to take her on her marriage day, to leave her to her husband's house. And everyone is thinking, wow, bhai ho to Kans jaisa. Really, the brother should be like Kamsa, so loving, wow. And suddenly there is a bodied voice in the sky. Kamsa, you fool, you're taking this Devaki, her 8th child will be death personified for you. Now look, Kamsa's duty for his sister, who's almost like a daughter. In the Vedic culture, younger sister is treated as good as a daughter. So the younger sister, first of all, it's a sister. Next, it's her day of marriage. And this is the gift he's giving. Suddenly pulled out the chariot, pulled out the sword in one hand and threw away the reins and held Devaki's hair and about to chop her head off. Where was the duty gone? It completely, he forgot, just because his interest, his self-interest was at stake. So he didn't bother what is going to be the effect of neglecting my duty. I don't care. I don't care. I don't like it. I'm going to destroy anyone who's coming in my way. And the complete opposite of that is Vasudeva, from whom Lord Krishna appeared in this world. Because Vasudeva was so much committed, responsible, a man of integrity, to perform his duty. That's the beauty of the duty. Vasudeva said, he could have said, Arey, your brother, sister, you fight, I am going to Haribol. Could have walked away. He said, no, I have taken a vow to protect her. Even at the cost of my death, I will try my best. I'll try my best. So he tried to kind of convince Kamsa and do so many ways, speaking, no, it will not be infamy on you. Just like Arjun is being told, people will criticize you. They'll say you're a coward, you run away from the battlefield. Arjun, don't do it. And what will be the destination of you? Ever think about it. But Kamsa is in no mood to hear all that. Like Arjun heard. So Kamsa is in no mood. So then he says, all right. I'm going to hand out every child. Forget about 8. It's not from Devki, right? Her son, her child. So I will hand over every child. And amazingly, Vasudev stood his ground. He actually, delivered all the children. So the point that I'm trying to make is there is such a contrast. Now, we may hear the story and say, Kamsa was such a demon. Don't think Kamsa existed only 5,000 years ago. There is a tiny Kamsa in all of us. And there is a very, very potential but silent, dormant Vasudev in all of us also. Dvau bhuta sargau lokesmin daiva asurevacha. There are two kinds. There is as Bhakti Tirth Maharaj says, the good dog and the bad dog in our heart. Because Americans like dogs very much. Good dog, bad dog. So there is soul part of God is divine by nature. And therefore, all the good qualities are there, but it is very dormant. And then there is the bad dog. The lust, anger, greed, envy, pride, illusion, all of that are sitting and they're eagerly waiting. Every time, whether we like it or not, when we do what is right, we are feeding the good dog. He'll become strong. And every time we neglect our duty, we are actually feeding the bad dog who's becoming strong. And whoever becomes strong is going to bark loud and scare away the weaker dog. So the question is up to us. Which dog are we going to feed and which dog are we going to neglect? The choice is ours. That choice is never taken away. And because there is a choice, there is a responsibility, ability to respond. We have a choice. The animals don't do it, but the human beings should do it. Since we are talking about war, since we are talking about warriors, I want to tell you 2 stories. These are real stories, real life stories that happened way back in 1942. 10th February, to be very precise, 1942. This has happened in America. So there was a Lieutenant Commander Butch O'Hare. This was his name. He was in the Air Force. He was a pilot, fighter pilot. And there was a fleet of ships from America going in the South Pacific Ocean. There were a fleet of ships, about 20, 30 ships going. And one ship is what is called as aircraft carrier. They carry aircraft, huge ships, like 10 football grounds like that. So there are planes on the ship and they take off from there and fight the enemy and come back. So one of the ship was an aircraft carrier. Its name was Lexington. So now Butch O'Hare, he was about 28-year-old at that time, young man, very dynamic person. And their squadron, the group, they actually wanted to go on a mission about 500 kilometers away, do the mission and come back. So their group leader told all of them, come on, get ready, get into your plane. They all got into the plane and they took off one after another from the Lexington aircraft carrier. And as soon as everyone was airborne, which was in the air, the sky, suddenly Butch O'Hare noticed that his fuel, actually the person who was supposed to fill the fuel had not filled his plane. And therefore it was actually practically empty. And when he came to know that, he immediately told the captain of the troop, commander of the squadron leader. He said, my petrol tank is empty, fuel is empty. I mean, not empty, but almost like it's going to come to an end. So I will not be able to return back from that mission. So immediately the squadron leader said, turn back and go back to the mothership. Go back to your ship. So with a reluctant heart, Butch turned back and actually started coming back alone. Now, while coming, this was Second World War. This was between the Allied forces and Japan, Germany, and all that. So he saw a whole squadron of flights, airplanes, moving towards the fleet of ships, Japanese airplanes. They were moving towards the ship to destroy the fleet of ships. And he was shocked. His blood completely turned cold. He said, my God, what can I do now? I'm alone. And these are like a whole troop of planes coming. And they're straight away headed to the, fleet of ships. If he called back to his commander there, who had gone on a mission, by the time they would come back, it would be too late. He couldn't inform the ship because it will be too late by the time they get prepared, because all the flights are gone away. So they have no one to fight for the ship, especially the aircrafts come. So then he was thinking, what to do now? I'm alone. I have no way to go back there or call them here or help. Then he decided, all right, I'll do one thing. Somehow I'll try to fight these people and turn them away rather than going towards the fleet of ships. And suddenly he dared, imagine alone, he knew there are so many flights, aircrafts coming. He started suddenly attacking. Now on the wings of his aircraft, there were guns. So he was shooting through the guns, different aircrafts. And people suddenly from the back, they saw so many shots coming. And they were surprised one after another because he was coming from behind. He also attacked from behind. Nobody realized, but eventually they came to know. And they all started, they're trying to, avoid this person, but he was like shooting down hard. And then after some time, his weapons got exhausted. All the bullets got exhausted from the guns. Then he was thinking what to do now. So he took the flight and started going, he dove in between them and trying to go up and down and kind of trying to clip off somebody's wing, somebody's tail of the plane. Somehow he was trying to beat everyone before at least he shot, or somehow he tried to do something. He created such a havoc that eventually the Japanese squadron leader of that fleet of, airplane, they turned and went in different direction. So Butch was relieved, and then he somehow, in a tattered plane, he landed on the aircraft carrier. And then he told them what had happened. And those planes had camera. Checked the camera and they found out that he had destroyed 5 airplanes of the enemies, Japanese airplanes. And everyone was glorifying him. He got an honor of Medal of Honor. The first person in Second World War to get this honor as a fighter pilot. And of course, a year later, in another fight, he actually died. He was from Chicago, and they were so happy. Their whole city was so happy that they wanted to honor his heroic act, even though he was no more. They wanted to honor his act, and therefore they named their airport. Even today, if you go to Chicago airport, it's called O'Hare Airport. The name of the airport is O'Hare Airport. And between Terminal 1 and 2, there is a beautiful statue of his. And that Medal of Honor that he received has been put in a plaque, and they put a nice frame. And they are so proud of him that even though he risked his life, literally, practically, to perform what was expected of him as a duty. But from the same Chicago, I'll tell you another story. This happened about a few decades ago, before the Second World War. There was a person called Al Capone. This Al Capone was the biggest crook. He was an extremely rich person. He was a big crook, but he was practically controlling half of the city. He had all the gambling casinos under him. He had all the bars under him. He had all this, gangsters working for him. And anyone who would oppose him, he would murder. He was a big underground leader, underworld character, and extremely dangerous. But somehow he would escape the authorities because he had a very powerful lawyer. The lawyer's name was Easy Eddie. Now, Easy Eddie was a brilliant lawyer, and he would always defend Al Capone. And in return, Al Capone gave him practically a block in a city. One city block was practically his estate. And he had the best of cars, any facility he wanted, the best. He had the swimming pool, his theater, everything in his house. Now, Easy Eddie was having an easy life, nice life going on. But somewhere, one part of his heart, he was very much attached to his son. And he wanted to give the best to his son. He gave him the best education in the best school possible. He gave him the best of facilities, the best of resources, the cars, and anything he wanted, he would give his son. But Easy Eddie was always thinking, I'm able to give him everything except two things I'm not able to give him. I'm not able to give him a good name of the father. And I am not able to give a good example. When my son grows up, when he comes to know how that father was actually able to provide him all these things, then he may not be very proud to take my name in front of people. And what kind of an example I am giving, supporting this big gangster with all my intelligence? So he was thinking, he was somewhere in his heart. So he was giving him the best, but at the same time in his heart there was this, somewhere there is a lacuna. He was feeling a vacuum. No, I should do something. I should do something. Then one day he took this very, very hard decision. He said, come what may, my son should be proud of me and I should set a good example. So he decided that he will expose Al Capone's all his mischiefs. So he went to the legal authorities and actually exposed him. And within 1 year, as in a street he was going, Easy Eddie, 1 year later, some people came and shot him down. But before that, Al Capone was in prison and all his gang was imprisoned. So you may wonder why I'm telling these two stories. The connection between the two stories is Easy Eddie's son was Butch O'Hare. Easy Eddie thought that I have to show him what is a life of performing one's duty, even though it is a little painful, even though it is risky sometimes, even though it is something you may not like to do. But if it is the right thing to do, we do it nevertheless. So we find here in these, instances, how in performance of one's duty, sometimes we give different excuses. Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives 4 reasons. Number 1, at least we should perform our duty out of fear at least. Just like parents tell their children, hey, better study well. Nobody likes to study, especially children. Sometimes they don't like to study. So what to, especially during exams, you like to, that is the time when you feel like going out and, having some fun. And, oh, no, what I have to do. So the fear is, hey, dekho, you will fail, you'll get poor marks. Your classmates will go to the next class and you will be shameful for you if you fail. Okay, I'll study. So first is fear. Then is gain. Arey, dekho, acha marks laya. You will go into this, you will get what you want to do. And then there is a duty. Arey, your parents are doing so much, can't you do this much? Right? And then the 4th one is when you love. Within love, you find all the 4. All the other 3 fully harmonized. When devotees of the Lord love Krishna, then their fear is, I shouldn't do anything which will displease Krishna. And what about the gain? Well, if I please Krishna, then that is the perfection. And the duty side, oh, Krishna is doing so much for us without even asking. Can't I do this much Krishna is asking me? Perform my duty. So when there is love, and that's exactly what Krishna consciousness is all about, to awaken that dormant love. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prem Sadhya Kabunai, Shravanadi Shuddha Chitte Karo Yodai. But when we keep on hearing about Krishna, hearing about his wonderful devotees, the great acharyas, how so many distractions, so many obstacles, so many temptations, so many threats that they faced in their lives. All the acharyas. In fact, the more they faced, the more strong they became. And that's why they are acharyas, acharati. By their example, they are showing. Whether you take the life of Srila Prabhupada, take the life of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, even currently, right here in our own, in today's, amongst Prabhupada's followers and other devotees, so many wonderful devotees we see who, fearlessly, even though in spite of a lot of temptations, distractions, obstacles, they are going on. May not be like big acharyas like Haridas Thakur, but we just do it in our level, whatever little level we are. We try to perform what is expected of us. And how do we know what is expected of us? It's like a law book. The Gita tells us. So I'm very happy that you are reading Bhagavad Gita systematically and you're understanding what is to be done, what is not to be done. Even though sometimes the mind says, chod yaar, Who is going to watch? Sometimes people say, okay, no, nobody's going to watch. Now I can do anything. Right? So we should be like Kanakdas. Kanakdas's guru gave everyone a banana and he said, you should eat in a place where no one sees. And then everyone ate. Somebody went inside the carpet, somebody went inside the bathroom, somebody went on the top of the tree, somebody went on the roof. And next day, Kanakdas only comes back with a banana and says, yes, Guruji, I didn't eat. Hey, fool, why did you eat? Such a simple thing, eating a banana. Why you have gone bananas? And Kanakdas says, no, I couldn't find a place where the Lord does not watch me. He said, wow, you have passed the test. I'll conclude with one story. One time, a German traveler, he came to India and he was visiting a construction site of a temple because he was an architect. So he wanted to see how these sculptors, make the deities. So he came to one temple site where the sculptor was, even without a drawing, everything was just tuck, 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 tuck. He was making the statue or the deity of Garudji. So he was very closely watching this German traveler. He was watching. And suddenly he said, Arey, there's one more deity lying next to exactly the same. So he looked at the deity and said, do you need two deities for the temple? So the sculptor said, no, we need only one. He was just kind of, he didn't even see. No, we didn't only one. So why these two? No, that is damaged. Really? Where is it damaged? And he checked that deity. Perfect. It was so perfect. There was nothing wrong there. Just Garudji's beautiful statue. Beautiful deity, actually. So he said, I don't see anything wrong. No, you see there is a scratch on top of the nose. There's a little scratch there. Okay, then he said, where are you going to put them? Well, this deity will be placed 20 feet on a pillar which is 20 feet high. What? You're going to place this deity on a pillar which is 20 feet high and the scratch is on the top of the nose and you are sitting on the bottom. Who will know? Who will know that there is a scratch on top of the deity which is sitting 20 feet above? Then the sculptor put his tools down, turned around, smiled and said, I will know. I will know. Because when I do the best I can, as it is said, do your best, then leave the rest. How can I be happy and satisfied if I don't put my full heart and soul? So in this way, the reason why I told this is it's not a question, okay, in the beginning stage, somebody will monitor you, somebody will guide you, somebody will be there to remind you, right? We need that. A lot of fear that if we don't do things, then people may, belittle us, minimize us, or it'll be very shameful. Or sometimes we may do to gain something, name, fame, etc. Or we may feel that, well, so much has been done, this is expected of me, I'll do it nevertheless. All of it is glorious. But if we can understand, like Arjun, Krishna wants me to fight this battle. How can I displease my dear friend Krishna? Suhridam Sarvabhutana. He's all our friend, well-wisher. How can I please him? Yasya prasadat. Through a representative, we understand what Krishna wants and we do it. And he's doing so much, can't we do this much? But all of that is included if we start loving Krishna, which is what Prabhupada taught us, how to love Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare. Thank you very much. I specifically stopped 15 minutes in advance so that I can hear your questions if you have any. Before your questions, I'm going to ask a question. Is everyone ready? I'm going to ask a question. My question is this. This is Prabhupada told this beautiful incident. One time, a saintly person was approached by 4 people. And the saintly person gave 4 different blessings. So first a prince came. And the prince said, "My dear Maharaj, please give me blessings. Rajaputra Chiranjeeva, may you never die, may you live long." The prince was very happy. Then came a brahmachari, very shriveled up, shaven headed, very austere, and doing a lot of seva for the Guru. And he said, "Maharaj, please give your blessings. May you not live long at all. Ma jiva muniputraka, don't live long. Better you die soon." Then a sadhu came, another sadhu, said, "Maharaj, please give me blessings. You either live or you die." Then came a butcher. And then he said, "You neither live nor die. You neither live nor die." Now, my question is, what kind of a Maharaj is this? What kind of a saintly person is this who gives different blessings and seemingly very harsh blessings? Who will answer this? You can unmute, and Pushkari Mataji is the person who will be deciding who is going to speak, and she'll unmute accordingly.
Maybe you can raise your hand so I know who to unmute. I'm sure some of you, would know the answer, but they are okay. Pranav, Arush. Okay, is that Naisha or Nishant Prabhu? I want children to answer, not their parents. If it is Naisha, then I will let her answer.
This question is extremely tough question. Huh? Yes. Even I could not answer the first time.
Okay, there's Yashoda. Okay, there's Yashoda. Naisha, if that is you, then I'm unmuting you. Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji, it's not getting unmuted. Yes.
Krishna Mataji, it's Namish, not Naisha, younger one.
Okay, Namish wants to answer. Very good. Okay.
So, Hare Krishna Mataji, so the Hare Krishna Prabhuji, so Danvat Pranam, so the saintly person said the prince to live long because he will rule the kingdom for a longer time. And he said the great sage to live, neither live or die. I don't care because he already was a great person. Either if he dies also, he's gonna go to Vaikuntha. And he said, and what was the third one? I forgot.
Okay, you can, very good. Namish, I'm so happy with your answers. Now let's give chance to others. Pranav, I'm going to unmute you, not Pranav, Parth, I'm going to unmute you. Parth?
Namish, I want to have your darshan.
Yes, please turn on your videos while you're answering. Parth, you can continue.
Yes, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yes, Parth.
Mataji.
Yeah, I can hear you.
We can hear you.
आवाज नहीं आ रही यार. अच्छा, हरे कृष्णा. तो माताजी.
Yes.
You say na question. You say question. मुझे question का मतलब नहीं समझ पाया.
Okay, please wait. That's not the Parth that I know. Okay, Parth, please wait. Okay, let's give Yashoda a chance. Okay, Yashoda, I'm unmuting you.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. According to the people's desire, the Brahmana gave the blessing. Hare
Your-
Krishna.
Your audio is not clear, Yashoda.
Mataji, I am Harinandan Mataji.
Who's this?
Mom, Mataji, I'm Harinandan. You gave the wrong person, Mataji. I'm
Okay.
Harinandan.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Then let me ask. I don't know why students from Thinking Stars, I'm hoping you will raise your hands to answer. And many of you all know this. Ashwin, Aditya.
You can try, don't worry. I
I
also
know. Devyani. Okay. Janak is here. Let me unmute. Okay, Samruddhi is here. Okay, that's good. Samruddhi, I'm going to give you the chance because Janak is a little young. Okay, Samruddhi, yes.
Yeah, so Hare Krishna. So the person gave the butcher that he could live long or he can die. He gave two options because he's so sinful that it doesn't matter whether he would die now or later on.
Mhm.
He gave the sadhu that he'll two options again because he's so very saintly and he is very qualified whether he would die now or after some time he would go to the spiritual abode. And
Yeah.
he said for the king because the king would so that he could rule the country very nicely and for a longer time.
Okay, wonderful. And why did he tell the brahmachari to die?
So that he can go to the spiritual abode very fast.
Jai, good. Very nice. Very nice.
Okay.
Samruddhi?
So has she answered all the four? Have children answered all the four?
Yes, but I'll tell you. I'll
Yes.
tell you what Prabhupada said. Rajaputra Chiranjeeva. The idea here is mainly one thing. It's not about the length of life, the duration of life. It's about the quality of life. So Rajaputra Chiranjeeva. This prince was like Nalakuvara and Manigriva. He was merely enjoying and not following his duties. So he said, if you die, you will go to hell. Therefore, you better live long. As long as you live, you can enjoy. And Majiva Muniputraka. The brahmachari is so austere, he's trying to please his guru, he's going to serve the Lord, and he's doing devotion to the Lord. Therefore, you are right now doing so much austerity. But if you die, immediately you'll go back to the spiritual world. So, Majiva, you better die right now. It was a good blessing. Then, Jivova Marova Sadhu, you either live or die. Because whether you live or you die, both way you are serving the Lord. I'll tell you one very interesting story about Anantacharya. There was a great Acharya by name Anantacharya, devotee, Sri Vaishnava devotee. He was serving Tirupati Balaji. So one day he was taking flowers. He would pluck the flowers from his own hands. He would make garland and he would offer it to Pushpa Kainkarya. He would do, because Balaji likes flowers. That's what his guru Ramanujacharya had told him. Therefore, he would do that. One day, as he was plucking flowers, a very poisonous snake bit Anantacharya. So his disciples came running and he said, Gurudev, poisonous snake has bit you, you will die. Please do something about it. Anantacharya looked at them and he said, go do your business, let me do my business. They said, no, it's a poisonous snake. I told you, You perform your business, allowed me to do my business, that is making this garland. Then when they told, no, 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 but you will die, then Anantacharya said, look, if I die, I will take bath in the Pushkarani, of Viraja Nadi, and I will go to the spiritual world and serve Lord Balaji in the Vaikuntha. And if I live, then I will bathe in the Swami Pushkarani, and then I'll go and serve Balaji here. So whether I live or I die, it doesn't matter. Both ways, I'm serving the Lord here and I'll serve the Lord there. As many of you rightly pointed out, a saintly person, for him, in any situation, Marobi Rakhobi Joicha Tohar. And regarding the butcher, he said, you neither live nor die. Because while living also, your existence is hellish. You're always covered by blood. You're covered by dead bodies. You're covered by pain, suffering, which is hellish. And if you die also, you will go to hell for the kind of activity you're doing. So whether you neither live, because if you live, you're in hellish situation. Don't die also, because if you die, you will go to hell. So the whole idea was, the sadhu was telling that if you are living a good quality of life, it's not about the quantity of life. Some trees live for 5,000 years. But more important, Shankaracharya lived only for 32 years. Lord Chaitanya lived only for 48 years. But it is the quality of life. And that quality of life is that person who engages in performing his prescribed duty. That is the beauty of the duty. But if we neglect the duty, then the effect is we will not be happy. So the sadhu wants us to be happy. The saintly person wants us to be happy. Therefore, he gives a blessing. But sometimes that blessing may seem a little bit difficult to understand. All right? First time, even I didn't know the answer. Then my ears were standing, what will Prabhupada say? And when Prabhupada answered, I said, wow, never thought about it like that.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. So many stories. Your class was full of, excitement. I think all children, they were totally here, present. So now, if you have any questions, children, please don't hesitate to ask Prabhuji. It could be anything related to religion, spirituality, whatever you're thinking of. Please raise your hands and please ask.
I see some
Raised hands.
No, I didn't. Some message. It was just.
Oh, I think, yeah, children would have also written. Okay, that is just like that. Please ask questions. And we will unmute you. I think there is Abhyudaya. I'm going to unmute her. Next is Prahlad, who wants to ask a question. Yes, Abhyudaya, you can ask.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Hey, I want to look at the face. It should
Yes,
not be.
please turn on your camera while you're asking a question.
I want to know who I'm talking to.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, my question is that there are so many philosophies and there are so many materialistic things are there. So how we can preach more better to please our Guru Maharaj? My question is that.
It was not very clear to me. There are so many
philosophies, he said.
Yeah.
So how can we preach effectively? All philosophies seem to be right.
Okay, very important question. Thank you so much for asking this. Actually, philosophy means philosophos. Philo means love and sophos means truth. So love of truth. The truth is only one. Actually, the truth is only one. 2 plus 2 is 4. It is not 3.5. It's not 4.5. So the truth is only one. But according to different levels of realization, people perceive it to different levels. Brahmeti, Paramatmeti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. There are different levels of spiritualists, and according to their level of evolution of consciousness, they understand to different level. And therefore, one's endeavor should be to completely purify our consciousness. Because the more we purify our consciousness, the more we'll be able to appreciate the truth. You know? So, and especially, it's very interesting that who is speaking the Bhagavad Gita? Sri Bhagavan Vacha, right? When he is speaking, he is the supreme authority. And we should accept the philosophy of Gita not as, for example, let us say, you may say, Are Gita is only Hindu scripture. No. Gita's, in the Bhagavad Gita, it is said, the body is made up of 24 elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego. Then the 20 karmendriyas, the jnanendriyas, 24 elements. Or as Krishna says, Bhumi rapo nalo vayu khammano dhirevacha ahankar ityame bhinna. Now tell me, are Americans made of rubber, fiber and plastic? Or are their body also made up of earth, water, fire, air, ether? What do you say? Everyone is made up of the same element, right? But the more you understand clearly, which is the ultimate philosophy, when the Lord himself comes, and when he speaks about himself, who can understand the truth better than when the absolute truth comes himself and speaks? So we should be convinced that when the Lord, Supreme Lord speaks, that is the highest truth. So therefore we should understand it and share it. You know? I hope that answers your question.
Okay, I can't see him. Okay, next question, maybe we can go. I'm sure it answers the question, Prabhuji. Let's go to Prahlad. Prahlad wants to ask a question.
Where is Prahlad? I want to see him.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Where are you? I am not able to see you.
He has turned on the camera. I don't know. He's sitting in another place.
Ah, thank you for your darshan.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. I want to ask a question that is related to like the current affairs. So at the present, the Ram Mandir, there is a talk of a lot of controversies. So is it right to build a temple on so much bloodshed? What are your views?
Well, you're making me walk on a landmine. Truly, there are different perspectives and there are different levels of seeing it. Somebody asked me this question and I told them, she said, this lady, she's a Kashmiri lady. She's in Mumbai. And she told me that I sense a lot of fanaticism and I don't like this form of devotion. How do I understand? Then I told her the same thing that I was telling you. Different people have different motives for why they want to construct the temple there. The sociologists may have their motive, the religionists may have their motives, the politicians may have their motives. So different people may have. Ye yathamam prapadyante tam sataiva bhajamya. If you have any other motive other than the fact that this purpose of this temple is to spread the message for which the Lord appeared, for which the Lord appeared. The Lord appeared, dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge. If it is for establishing that, then that is perfectly all right. So if you have anything else, you will be disappointed. You will be disappointed. And Prabhupada said, the purpose of the temple, truly, the purpose of the temple is to teach people how to make their home into a temple, how to make their heart into a temple. Now let's try to understand, what is a temple? Okay, how is it different from any other building? The temple has concrete, rocks, and wood, and iron, and probably some stones, and some fans, and whatever, And other building also has that. What makes it a temple? Let's say, for example, if you go to Parliamentary House, in Parliament House, what is the difference between any house and Parliament House? On top of the building, there is a flag, if you see. Tricolor flag. Yesterday was Independence Day, so all the more relevant. So the flag on top of the building indicates this building belongs to the government. All the people who are serving here are government servants. All the property here belongs to the government. And all the activities that are going on are for the pleasure and satisfaction of the government, the constitution. That is what makes the Parliament House, or the flag on top represents. Similarly, the flag on top of, just like why do we put tilak? This tilak is like a flag. This shows who is inside, who is the Lord of this body, who is the owner of this body, what is this body active for whose pleasure and satisfaction. Truly, Srila Prabhupada said, my temples are in Vaikuntha, which means the purpose of this temple is Krishna is the owner of everything that exists, not only that building. He is the owner of everything that exists. Aham sarvasya prabho matta sarvam pravartate. Right? He is the ultimate controller, proprietor, and enjoyer. The day we accept, or the place where we are trained to learn that, then our home becomes a temple. It's no more an ordinary place. Jedina grihe bhajana dekhi grihete goloka bhai. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says, when I come home and see my whole family engaged in serving the Lord, I experience Vaikuntha here. Maya means when we forget anything's connection with the Lord. Actually, everything is spiritual, as Prahlad said. Not you, Bhakta Prahlad. Where is, Hiranyakashipu asked him, where is your Lord? He said, where is he not? Andantarastha paramanu chayantarastha. The moment yomam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sachame na pranashyati. Truly the purpose of the temple. There are 3 eyes. Okay? Eyes, huh? Ankh. I have 4 eyes. The first eye is charma chakshu, our material eyes. Then there is jnana chakshu. Chakshurunmilitam yena tasmai shri gurave namah. Chakshudan dilojai janme janme satprabhu se. So Guru opens our eyes to see through the scriptures, not through the eyes, but through the ears. Like electron, proton, neutron, we can't see it. But we know Because electron is there, all these electronics is happening. So we hear and then we see, even though we don't see physically through our charma chakshu, the material eyes. So second is Shastra chakshu. And through Shastra, when we practice devotion, which is the purpose of the temple, to teach us how to open our eyes. And when we start serving the Lord through the 9 process of devotional service, then Prema Chakshu, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. Then at that time, you don't require a temple. For a devotee, pure devotee of the Lord, Bhavad Vidha Bhagavata Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirthi Kurvanti Tirthani. Srila Prabhupada, he was seeing Krishna everywhere. He went to Moscow, Krishna manifested there. He went to Africa, Krishna manifested there. He went and helped people see the Lord in the heart and established temples where people can be trained how to see the Lord everywhere, in everything. You know? So, as long as this is the true purpose of the temple. But because of so many years of foreign rule, we have become so alienated from our own culture. We are so ashamed to call ourselves Indian. Anything Indian is considered to be very... So on a cultural level, on a national level, we are not interested. The same Lord Chaitanya, who said that I'm not a Brahman, I'm not a Vaishya, I'm not this, I'm not Indian. The same Lord Chaitanya said, Bharat Bhumite Manushya Janma Hoilajar, Janma Sarthaka Kari Karo Parupkar. So we should not identify this nation as a piece of land, but this nation as a Rashtra, as a leader for mankind. Srila Prabhupada went to UK and he said, you stole Kohinoor, but you forgot to take the real wealth of India. I have come to hand over the real wealth of India, the Bhagavad Gita. Please read this. Krishna, devotion to Krishna, Nilamani. The real wealth is here. This is the land where so many wonderful avatars have taken. So on one level, on a political level, they are doing their way. On a devotional level, we should do our part. On a social level, social activists may do their part. But the purpose should be, in the first canto of Bhagavatam, there is a beautiful verse, Svishtasya Suktasya cha buddhi dattayo avichutotham kavibhir nirupito yaduttama shloka gunanu varnana. If you are a philosopher, be a philosopher like Vyasdev. If you are a poet, be a poet like Valmiki. If you are a scientist, be a scientist like all the great rishis of this planet, of this country. You know, they gave in its purest form, they gave simply to glorify the Lord and purify the heart. And therefore, yes, okay, if violence is not necessary, why did Krishna engage in killing 64 crores of people? If violence was not necessary, why did Ram fight? He could have said, "ठीक है, तुम सीता रखो, मैं दूसरे को शादी कर लेता हूं." Why did he have to fight? To establish dharma. That is necessary. So on one level, political level, on a social level, on a cultural level, on a historical level, on a devotional level, everyone at their level should try, according to their skills, abilities, and understanding, they should try to help others make your life perfect. Janma sarthaka kari. And karo paropakar. Help others perfect their lives. So if it is serving that purpose, we can use that opportunity to share people what is real Ramarajya? You do your part. Let the government do their part. Let the architects do their part. Beautiful temple. So people come to see. Wow, what a beautiful place. So different people have to do their roles. Chaturvarne Maya Srishta. But the purpose is to glorify the Lord and purify everyone's heart. I hope that answers your question. Thank you, Prahlad, for such a provoking question.
Yeah, it was.
Roji, I had another question.
Yeah.
Prahlad, we give chance to others because there are others who have raised hands. If you are not asking a question related to the same question, then we'll give others also a chance to ask. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So next, I want Arjun had raised his hands, but he is not here now. Let me ask Ashwin to ask the question.
Here there is a question here. I want to do well.
Yeah, there are many questions there, Prabhuji, but first I think the ones who have raised their hands can finish and then we can go to those questions.
Okay.
Thank you. Ashwin, we are not able to hear you. No, not yet.
No.
I have unmuted you, but we can't hear you. Maybe you should take off your earphones or something. No, Ashwin, some problem. You said that right. I'll come back to you. Till then, I will unmute Devyani. Devyani, please ask your question.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you for the wonderful class. Prabhuji, could you help me understand like how you said the truth is one? So if the truth was one, why did Krishna have to bring it down in 4 different sampradayas? Why couldn't we just have one sampradaya?
There are 4 political parties. There is Communist Party of India, there is Congress, there is BJP, right? But what are their intentions? Their intention is they want to serve the country. Srila Prabhupada gave that example. There are different political parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. They have their way of serving, but everyone, just like in the spiritual world, there are the right-wing gopis and there are left-wing gopis. But unlike here in this world, they are not envious. Radharani is very happy if some other gopi from the other party is able to please Krishna. The purpose is to please Krishna. But there are different rasas. Just like the trees, the cows, the monkeys, the peacocks, the birds, they please Krishna in another way. The cowherd boys, they please Krishna by playing with him, sometimes defeating him. Now, Mother Yashoda serves Krishna in a different way, in the Vatsalya Ras. And then the gopis serve Krishna in a different way, as friends, very intimate friends. So, everyone is wanting to please and serve Krishna. Just like the hands. The hands are serving the body, the legs are serving the body, the belly is serving the body, the head is also serving the body. But they are serving in different ways, but they are all cooperatively serving the body. So all these sampradayas have different flavors. Imagine if you had only rice, morning, afternoon, evening, no dal, no chapati, no pickles, no anything else, only rice. How can you enjoy? Variety is the mother of enjoyment. So there are various levels of devotees. They all want to serve the Lord in different ways. And Krishna is so huge, so broad-hearted that he can accept all types of service and help them to purify themselves also. I hope that answers your question.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Thank you. Whoever Pushkarani Mataji guides, and as long as she allows me, I'm going to be speaking.
Can I ask one doubt?
Yes.
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, my doubt is that how can we keep our mind focused and determined in a single work like type of?
How can you keep your mind focused
Yes,
or life focused?
mind.
Okay. Man mana bhav mad bhakto. First of all, the mind should be above the senses. And above the senses is the intelligence. Through intelligence, you have to determine what is the right thing to do. After you determine what is the right thing to do, then you have to instruct the mind. The senses are like the horses. The mind is like the reins of the horses. And the intelligence is like the chariot driver. You know, so you should hold the reins. Thank you. You should hold the reins and move it towards that. So the mind, just like Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, early in the morning, beat your head 100 times with your shoes. And late at night before going to bed, beat your mind with a broomstick. So from today onwards, keep your shoes on your left side of your bed and keep the broomstick on the right side. No, it doesn't mean that. It means through your mind, when you get up early in the morning, tell your mind, look, my dear mind, Bandhuratmat manastasya yenatmaivatma. You should be, the mind which is controlled is a good friend. You should instruct your mind. Yesterday you are supposed to do this. You did not do this. Do this. You're supposed not to do this, but you did this. Don't do it. So in the early morning, just like before you leave home to the school, you decide, I'm going to take this route and then I'm going to go there. And then you start. Even before you leave home, you know where you're going. So first fix your goal through your good intelligence, through guidance. After good guidance, good understanding, be convinced of the goal. After that, understand what are the obstacles, what are the favorable things, adopt. Unfavorable things, reject. So then the mind gradually becomes your friend, and a friend always helps you. So through your good intelligence, first decide what is the goal of your life. What do you want to achieve at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the year, at the end of 10 years? What I want to do. So discuss with your people whom you have trust, faith, and confidence, who are your well-wishers, and finalize that. Then you instruct your mind, my dear mind, please help me go there. And the mind will tell the senses. Just like Gandhiji had 3 monkeys. मैं बुरा नहीं देखूंगा, बुरा नहीं सुनूंगा, बुरा नहीं बोलूंगा. Of course, we should have 6 monkeys. Vacho Vegam, Krodha Vegam, Rupa Goswami says. So we have to control them through the intelligence. We have to hold the reins and allow the horses to go in the right way. Right? Sometimes, like for example, I am sometimes attracted to eat something, but my intelligence knows that even though it looks very delicious, but the ingredients that are made, of which it is made, is not good for me. So even though I'm attracted, my senses are attracted, my mind is also telling, but my intelligence tells me, hey, that's why I said, reflect on the effect and know the effect of neglect, right? So after assessing, then only you take the step. Then the mind will become your friend. But if you allow the mind to be controlled by the senses, then the senses drag you different place. I don't like to hear this. I like to hear this. I don't want to see this. I want to see this. I want to see a movie. Array, but there is exam going on. That's how you control. Tell your mind, okay, first you do this, after you will get that. That's how you do it.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Ashwin, now I think your mother's, this is unmuted. Please speak, Ashwin.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat, Ashwin.
Prabhuji, my question is, how do we develop discipline while we are performing our duties?
How do we develop discipline?
While we are performing our duties.
First of all, ascertain your duties. Right? What your duties are.
Yes, ma'am.
And then to perform that duty, you should know what is to be done. Discipline comes by self-control. Unless you control your senses, you can't be disciplined. Because there is Godas and Govindadas. You cannot be Govindadas and Godas at the same time. Because the scriptures are telling you, Krishna is telling you, do this. And your mind is telling you, nay, do this. The senses are telling, do this. So unless you become Goswami, you can't become Krishna Das. You have to become controller of the senses. Meaning, even though the senses may say this and that, you say no. That is tapasya. That is called as austerity. Austerity means voluntarily accepting inconvenience. Just like yesterday was Ekadashi. Even though the mind may be telling, Arey yaar, I want to eat this. No, today is Ekadashi. I want to progress spiritually. This is not good for me. It should not be eaten. It's not favorable. Then I'll do it now. Somehow I'll control myself. Right? That's why I said intelligence, mind, senses. They have to be properly aligned. The hierarchy should be clear. You know, Indriyani paranyahur indriyabhya param manaha manasastu para buddhehe yo buddhehe paratastu saha. So the scriptures determine what direction to go. You convince yourself through intelligence, then tell the mind, and the mind is the leader of the senses. You know, and then it will tell the senses, no means no. Yes means yes. Subah utna hai to utna hai. I had a Gurukul boy. During exams, he wanted to do some extra reading, but he would feel very sleepy. So somebody in the school, other classmate told him, no, you eat very early and don't overeat at night, too late. Otherwise you will feel sleepy. So for 1 week before the exam, I saw him eating very little. But he said, नहीं, मैं बोला, अरे क्यों नहीं खा रहा है? बोला नहीं, खूब ज़्यादा खाऊंगा तो नींद आ जाता है. I'll do it. But after 1 week, he was taking nicely. But just before, preparing for that. No pain, no gain, as they say. You know, you can't get something good. Everything has a price. When you buy something, you have a price tag. So you want that, you have to pay this price. So that discipline is that. You should be convinced about how beneficial that goal is for me, and then move towards the goal. Anukulya se sankalpo, pratikulya se varjana. Anything favorable, however difficult to the mind and senses, you accept it. And anything unfavorable, however pleasing to the mind and senses, you reject it. This is called tapasya. It's poison in the beginning, but nectar in the end. But otherwise, indiscipline is nectar in the beginning, but poison in the end. All right?
Thank you. It was nice. Okay, Ashwin.
So somebody was raising her hand.
Yes. Omkar was there. I have unmuted Omkar.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Okay.
Can you see him? Omkar is, I think, turned on.
Lalita and Giridhari, somebody is raising their hand. Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Who is
Yes,
this?
this is
Omkar.
Omkar. Please turn on your camera. Prabhuji has to see you. Yeah.
Okay, Omkar. Wow, that is sweet, Krishna.
With red hair. So, Omkar, please
Hare
ask.
Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavad.
Prabhuji, so my question is like how to make your mind more attracted toward Krishna consciousness. Like the mind usually like it gets distracted to the non-sensory pleasures and all, but then like you have to force your mind to chant 4 rounds every day, something like that.
One time,
So rarely it happens almost.
one time Prabhupada was asked this question, and you know what Prabhupada said? How did you become a hippie? How do you become a drunkard? He said, if you keep on drinking regularly, you will become a drunkard. So like that, whatever you want to become, you take little by little, every day, little by little, little by little. Then your capacity will increase. And another very good example I give. It's not a good example, but still a good example. Those people who drink, they drink together. Because when you do things together, then taste increases and capacity increases. When I was in college, we heard a lecture. One yoga teacher had come, not yoga, he was a physical trainer. He told about the importance of jogging early in the morning, the benefits of doing that. So we decided we will do it. No, not I decided. But then the next day morning I said, Kal karenge. From January 1st I will do. It was getting postponed. But then we decided, 4 of us decided to do it together. There was one friend of mine, Gopal, he was an Andhra, from Andhra Pradesh. Then one more fellow, like that. 4 of us joined. Then we took a resolve that come what may, if one of us sleeps, the other person should come and throw cold water on the face, but everyone should wake all the other 3. Somehow we should go. So even though one was feeling a little lazy, the other one would drag us. And even though we would do half distance and then we'll get choda kaun bhagega. But no, you see other person going, then you say, okay, he can do it, I can also do it. So when we do things together, then 2 things happen. Quality or the taste increases, and quantity, the capacity also increases. Because when you see somebody, अरे ये कर सकता है तो मैं भी कर सकता हूँ यार. So naturally you will feel like, and then you are able to do it together. We are able to do as there is an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. So when we do things in the association of like-minded people, then you can go farther and eventually faster also than running alone.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That was very nice.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think it's time for you to...
There is one girl, Lalita. She's raising her hand for a long time. I'm seeing her.
Okay, Lalita, please ask your question. Lalita, is it?
Lalita and Giridhari, I see 2 names here.
Okay, let me just unmute them. Oh, this is our Lalita and Giridhari. They are... Yes, please ask your question. Lalita, please ask.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, my question is, according to the scriptures, what is the most important duty of a child?
Not only child, the most important duty of every human being is to love God, to love Krishna. And that is like a PhD level. To do PhD, you have to start with KG. And that is what we were discussing. So right now you have to equip yourself with knowledge. You have to discipline yourself. You have to understand what is right, what is wrong. That's where schooling comes. Lalayet panchavarshani, dashavarshani tadayet. First 5 years, we allow children to do whatever they want, play anywhere. But after that, we say, okay, now there is discipline. Just like a potter makes a pot. After putting the clay on the wheel, he very nicely moves his finger to give a shape to the pot. So similarly, your teachers, your guide, your parents, ask them also. They will tell you, if you want to do that level, PhD level, then this is where you should start. Start with ABCD, start with CAT, CAT, BAT, VAT, and then you make bigger sentences, then you read books, then you understand, you go like that. So coming back to your question, ultimately there is only one thing. Dharma svanushtita pumsam vishvaksena kathasuyaha na utpadayed yadiratim shramaeva hi kevalam. If we don't develop love for Krishna, then all our effort at the end is mere waste of labor, whoever we are. Young, old, intelligent, simple, man, woman, everyone, not only for children, everyone. All right. Thank you, Lalita, for a nice question.
That's Swarup Damodar Prabhuji's daughter.
Oh, acha.
Son, yes.
Really?
Thank you very much, Lalita and Giridhari. Okay, Prabhuji, now I have, I think I don't want to keep you like this. If you have to leave,
God, it's 39 minutes.
It's completely left to you. Whatever you decide now, because it's very difficult for me to.
I have another program.
Yes, yes. Yeah. So we completely understand, and we are so grateful that you have spent so much time. And children, if you have any questions, then you can always direct to Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji or any of your leaders there nearby. Okay, and we will try and answer. We are very grateful to you, Prabhuji, that you have given so much time for little children. Thank you very much.
I am very grateful to all of you for such attentive hearing. This is a proof that you are well disciplined and you are doing your duties very nicely. Thank you so much, Mataji, for giving this opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Okay, Sudhir Gopal Prabhuji, maybe you can answer some of the questions that children have.
Hare.
Yes.